Okay, imagine this for a second. The chicken on your plate, it's not, the usual white or maybe golden brown. Instead, picture something that's completely jet black. Meat, organs, bones, everything. And it's not burnt or dyed or anything like that. It's naturally black from beak to claw. This is the Kadaknath, a really rare, pretty unique breed of chicken from India. And today we're doing a deep dive into what makes it so special, why it's got health folks and foodies talking.
Yeah, that image, it's definitely striking. You can't miss it. But honestly, that's just scratching the surface. This bird, they call it kalimasi locally, which, well, it just means fowl with black flesh. It's not just a pretty face, so to speak. It's actually a nutritional powerhouse, that black color. It comes from something called fibromelanosis, basically too much melanin pigment getting deposited everywhere in its body. But it's more than just looks. This chicken has like ancient roots and tribal traditions, and now it's really catching on as a kind of modern superfood. It challenges a lot of what we think about poultry.
Okay, that's a great setup. So our mission today is really to unpack the secrets of Kadaknath. We'll look at its tradition, the nutrition side, which sounds amazing, and also this surprising story about sustainability and how it almost disappeared. And hey, as we get into these cool insights, just remember you can always find more deep dives like this, really expand your knowledge just by visiting Mind Expansion Daily. Lots of great information there. So this bird, this jet black wonder, where does its story actually begin? What are the origins?
Well, its home is really deep in the rugged forested areas of Madhya Pradesh in India, specifically the Jhabua and Alirajpur districts. These are tribal regions, and the indigenous Bilam Malakwala tribes, they're the ones who first domesticated Kadaknath centuries back. And it wasn't just farming, they developed this really deep, almost sacred connection with the bird, that fibromelanosis we talked about, the black pigment. For them, it wasn't just, oh, it looks different. No, these communities believe for a long, long time that the melanin itself contributes to its medicinal properties.
And that's not just like old wives' tales, is it? These are beliefs based on actual practices going back generations, used in rituals, traditional medicine.
Exactly. Yeah, for generations, Kadaknath has been a part of their traditional healing. They've used it as a natural remedy for all sorts of things, from chronic stuff like asthma and even tuberculosis to helping with women's health issues. It's pretty amazing how integrated it is into their traditional knowledge, all passed down orally, and through practice.
Right. And now this traditional knowledge, it's actually getting formal recognition. That seems like a big step. I read it got a geographical indication, a GI tag back in 2018. What does it actually mean for a breed like this?
Oh, the GI tag is huge. Yeah, specifically as Jhabua Kadaknath black chicken meat. It basically acts like a stamp of authenticity and origin. Think champagne from Champagne, France, that kind of thing. It legally protects the name, making sure only genuine Kadaknath from that specific region, raised traditionally, can be called that. It really elevates its status, but maybe more importantly, it helps protect the intellectual property of the tribal communities who've nurtured it for so long. It gives their traditional knowledge real weight on a global scale.
Okay, so we've got the ancient wisdom, the unique origins, but now, everyone's so focused on health. How does this black chicken actually compare nutritionally to, say, the regular chicken most of us eat? What are the key advantages, especially protein, fat, cholesterol, the big ones?
Right, this is where Kadaknath really stands out from the crowd. Let's break it down. First, protein. Kadaknath meat clocks in at around 25 to 27% protein. Now, compare that to your standard broiler chicken, which is usually, 18 to 20%? Yeah. So that's a pretty significant jump. And it's good quality protein, too, provides all 9 essential amino acids. Great for muscle repair, growth, all that stuff.
Wow, okay. Quite a bit more protein. But what about fat? That's often a big concern for people wanting leaner options.
The fat content. This is honestly mind-blowing. Kadaknath is incredibly lean. We're talking fat levels between just 0.73 and 1.05%. Think about that. A typical broiler might have like 13 to 15% fat, sometimes more. So yeah, it's over 10 times less fat, exceptionally lean. And for anyone watching their heart health, the cholesterol is lower too. We're at 184 milligrams per 100 grams versus about 218 in regular chicken. That was actually confirmed by the Central Food Technological Research Institute just last year in 2023.
So not just lean, it's super lean.
Yeah.
And more protein. Impressive. But does it go beyond those big three macros? Is it packed with micronutrients too, like a real dynamo?
Oh, absolutely. Beyond the macros, it's definitely a micronutrient powerhouse. The iron content, for instance, is really high, like 2 to 4 times higher than standard chicken. That's massive for anyone dealing with anemia or just needing an energy boost, especially important for women's health, as a 2024 study pointed out. And then you've got a whole suite of B vitamins, B1, B2, B6, B12, all crucial for, metabolism, nerve function. Plus, you get antioxidants like vitamin C and E, fighting off oxidative stress, and minerals like calcium and phosphorus for bone health. What's also really interesting is its level of carnosine. It's a potent antioxidant that's linked to eye health and reducing inflammation. And we shouldn't forget the eggs. They're pretty special too. Good protein, around 11.67%, and low fat. They actually call them diet eggs sometimes. Great for weight management. So yeah, if you're health conscious, an athlete recovering from illness, Kadagnath offers this incredibly nutrient-dense package.
It really does sound like it's in a category of its own, just based on the basic nutrition. But is there even more? You mentioned bioactive compounds earlier. Do those give it an extra edge?
Yes, that's exactly right. That's where it goes beyond just standard poultry nutrition. It has higher levels of these bioactive compounds, specifically things like carnosine, which we mentioned, and also anserine. These are powerful antioxidants. They work at a cellular level to fight oxidative stress. A 2022 study actually suggested they might help reduce the risk of chronic diseases. And its meat also contains more linoleic acid, which is a heart-healthy fatty acid essential for cell function, higher than in broilers.
That is significant. And you mentioned before how the tribal communities used it medicinally. How does that traditional belief connect with these compounds we're finding? Is there untapped potential there?
Well, that's the fascinating intersection, isn't it? The tribal belief is that the melanin-rich blood helps with blood flow, and they traditionally used it for things like asthma, TB, even reproductive issues. Now, the rigorous scientific validation, the double-blind studies, that's still somewhat limited, but preliminary research is starting to suggest potential benefits, particularly around respiratory health and maybe women's reproductive systems. It lines up in a way. Even the eggs, traditionally they were used for headaches, kidney inflammation, asthma. And interestingly, the local agricultural science center at the KVK in Jhabua actually recommended them for post-COVID recovery. So it really makes you wonder, right, what other benefits might be uncovered with more research? It's this cool blend of ancient knowledge possibly being validated by modern science.
It's incredible potential. But hang on, if it's so amazing, so unique, why isn't it, everywhere? You said it almost vanished. What were the big problems it faced? What does that tell us?
Yeah, it's a dramatic story, really. It was on the brink of extinction, mostly because it grows slowly compared to commercial breeds, and demand was increasing, putting pressure on the wild populations, essentially. But thankfully, there were dedicated conservation efforts. The Krishi Vigyan Kendra, the KVK in Jhabua, under the Agricultural University there, they really stepped up starting around 2009. They didn't just try to save the breed, they focused on empowering the local communities too. They started distributing chicks to farmers, especially supporting tribal women's self-help groups, providing low-cost poultry sheds. And it worked. Now there are over 170 of these sheds just in Jhabua, producing something like 2.5 lakh, that's 250,000 Kadagnath chickens every year.
Wow, that's a serious turnaround. So how did that conservation actually become an economic boost for the communities?
Well, that 2018 GI tag was a game changer economically. It seriously boosted its market value. Now, Kadagnath meat can sell for 800 to 1,200 rupees per kilogram. That's what, maybe 10, 15 US per kilo, much, much higher than regular chicken. And the eggs, too, 30 to 50 rupees each. That's significant income. Plus, another key factor is its resilience. This bird thrives in the heat of Jhabua, easily handling 40 degrees Celsius, which is over 100 Fahrenheit. That makes it a really sustainable option for farmers dealing with climate change. It's even mentioned in the state's climate action plan drafts. So yeah, it really has become an economic lifeline. It shows conservation, community empowerment, and sustainability can absolutely go together.
Okay, the backstory is amazing. The nutrition is off the charts. The community impact is huge. But I have to ask, what does it actually taste like? What's the experience on the plate?
Ah, the taste. It's definitely different from the chicken you're probably used to. Because it's so lean and has that melanin, the meat has a more pronounced, gamey, earthy flavor. Some people compare it to partridge or other wild birds. Traditionally in tribal cooking, it shines in slow-cooked dishes, curries, stews, often with very simple spicing, maybe just salt, green chilies, some local herbs. They let the bird's flavor come through. But now, chefs are getting creative with it too. You're starting to see it on upscale menus, things like blackened Kadagnath curry, or maybe a Kadagnath pulao. Food and Wine India mentioned this recently. Some restaurants in big cities like Mumbai and Delhi, places like Asora or the Radisson Blue, they're playing with it in biryanis, kormas, sort of blending tradition with modern techniques. And the eggs apparently have richer yolks, so they're great for omelets or baking. So Yeah, for someone looking for something new, adventurous, and healthy, its unique taste is definitely part of the appeal.
Okay, it sounds fascinating. But despite all this promise, all these qualities, what are the real challenges? What's stopping Kadingnath from becoming a bigger deal, maybe even globally? What are the roadblocks to scaling up this superfood?
Yeah, there are definitely hurdles. For one, production is still quite limited. We're talking less than 1 million birds a year overall. That scarcity keeps the price high. That 1,200 rupees per kilo figure we mentioned, that naturally limits how far it can reach globally. Poultry India noted this for 2025. Another big factor is just how long it takes to grow. 6 months to maturity for Kadaknath versus like 45 days for a commercial broiler. That makes large-scale production tricky. And then there's the risk. If demand keeps growing, especially from cities, there's pressure to maybe crossbreed it to grow faster, which could dilute its unique genetics. Supply is constantly strained. It's a tough balance.
Right, that makes sense. So what's being done to tackle these issues? How do we get this black gold to more people without losing what makes it special or hurting the communities?
Well, there are definitely efforts underway. The KVK and the Madhya Pradesh government are really focused on this. They're running specific breeding programs designed to increase the numbers, but crucially, while maintaining that genetic purity. That's key. They're also using tech. There's actually a Kadaknath app now, believe it or not. It connects farmers directly with buyers, helps manage the supply chain, ensures fair prices. Remember that famous cricketer, MS Dhoni? He apparently ordered 2,000 chicks back in 2022 using a similar platform. It shows the potential for direct connections. And of course, ongoing research is vital. Validating all those nutritional claims scientifically, figuring out the best climate-resilient farming practices. All these things together, well, they could genuinely help Kadaknath move from being a regional specialty to a staple in healthy diets worldwide without losing its heritage.
Wow. What an incredible story we've unpacked today about Kadaknath chicken. From that striking jet black look to the amazing nutrition, the deep cultural roots, and how it's helping empower communities, it's really something else.
It absolutely is. It's a real win for biodiversity, isn't it? And a great example of how sustainable farming can work. Whether you're purely focused on health or you're just a curious foodie looking for something unique, this black gold from India, well, it's definitely worth knowing about. Nature's finest, maybe.
So after hearing all this, what stands out most to you about this incredible bird? Would you be keen to try Kadaknath? We genuinely love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, tell us if you agree or disagree with what we've explored today. And hey, for more fascinating deep dives just like this one, make sure you visit Mind Expansion Daily. Loads of great information waiting for you there. Oh, and please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It really helps us out and means we can keep bringing you more of these amazing insights. Thanks for tuning in.